Well, welcome to our broadcast today. Yesterday, if you were with us, we began a wonderful study of the second coming of Jesus Christ, found in the book of Revelation, chapter 19. And we focused our attention primarily on the names given to Christ in this text of Scripture, 4 different names that describe who he is and what he is like. And we learned a great deal about Christ even in those names. Today we move on to actual descriptions of him given in this passage. There's 7 of them. We're going to look at 4 today and then the rest of them the next time. But we'll start out here with verse 11 where it says, I saw heaven opened and behold a white horse. And he who sat on it is called Faithful and True. First, we see that he is riding in at this time on a white horse. This is interesting because of the contrast between his first and second coming. At his first coming, he came as a baby, peaceful, content, a beautiful scene. He didn't come in war. He came as a little child in a manger. Now he comes back as a warrior. He comes back on a white horse. Even when he came into Jerusalem at what we call the triumphal entry, just before his crucifixion, he rode on a donkey, not a war horse, but now he comes on a war horse, a white horse. He's coming for battle, this description describes that for us. Secondly, in verse 12, we see his eyes. His eyes are a flame of fire. This is a depiction of Christ's ability to see all things. This comes right after he says that he is, in verse 11, in righteousness he judges and wages war. It isn't possible to judge righteously unless you know the facts, unless you know what's really going on. The best of human judges take the evidence that they are given and make a verdict on that. They determine what they believe is right on the basis of the facts that they're given. But they can be wrong, and the evidence can be wrong. But Jesus, not so. His eyes see all things. It's like a flame of fire penetrating all things. He sees what is right. He sees what is wrong. He's never deceived, and so he's able to judge righteously. Thirdly, he has diadems on his head. On his head are many diadems. He is the one who is the king and the monarch, and these diadems show that. Now, you recall earlier in the book of Revelation, both Satan and the Antichrist wears diadems, but they're pretenders. They're posers. They're trying to claim an authority they don't actually have. Now, for a time, the Lord actually allowed them to have a temporary contemporary reigning over the earth, but that is coming to an end now, and the true king has arisen, and we see him with diadems on his head, depicting the fact that he is the king of all. And then our final description today is the robe. If we drop down to verse 13, he is clothed with a robe dipped in blood. This is an interesting thing. We immediately think of Christ's own blood dying for us on the cross of Calvary. And of course, that is absolutely true throughout the Scriptures. But most Bible scholars do not believe this is Jesus' blood here. This is not a time when he's shedding his blood. It is a time when he's shedding the blood of other people. And he is coming in judgment upon those who have rejected him and defied him over all these years. So this is the blood of those he is conquering. So keep in mind, the first time he came in peace, he came offering salvation, he came offering his kingdom, he came offering righteousness and redemption. This time he's coming in judgment upon those who've rejected all of that, and he comes in such a way that he is bringing about a great slaughter, really, of those who've rejected him. It's a gruesome picture, but he is righteously judging those who've rebelled against him. In verse 14, we also see these armies that are coming with him, and the armies which are in heaven, clothed in white, fine linen, white and clean, were following him on white horses. Again, they're not involved in the battle. We see no swords. We see no activity on their part in this battle. They're non-combatants, but they're coming with him on white horses, and they are clothed in fine linen, white and clean. That takes us back to verse 8. It was given to her to clothe herself in fine linen, bright and clean, for the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. In other words, this is the church coming back with the Lord at this time. They have been cleansed. They have received their reward. They have already been before the judgment seat of Christ, and they're now ready to come back with Christ at this particular point in time at what we call the Battle of Armageddon, at the second coming of Christ. But they themselves are not involved in the battle. They are with him, and they're riding white horses following him who does all the conquering. So that's 4 descriptions we find of Christ here. There are still 3 more we want to look at tomorrow. I hope you can join us. We'll see you then.